Welcome to Drill and Excel in Sight Singing. This book offers a step-by-step approach to learning how to sing the notes right off the page. So let's get started. We start with the assignment pages for writing the assignment and note pages for any notes. And a quick rundown of what sight singing actually is. So it is reading the notes on the page without an instrument playing them. So it does require both learning how to read music and then a little bit of ear training. So this book assumes that the student doesn't know anything. So we do go through how to read the notes and the rhythms and then scale numbers for ear training. So we'll go through all of that. I do recommend a student having a piano or keyboard for note reference, and I do a quick keyboard geography there, and then a real quick rundown for singing techniques. So this book is not intended to be in-depth on technique of singing, so you can do your own research or take lessons. I recommend doing this in a lesson anyway, so the instructor can help you with more in-depth singing techniques. And then how this book works. So it is in two parts, and each part has a pre-chapter with segments in the pre-chapter, and then 9 chapters per part. The 9 comes with, it goes through each chapter having a new key, starting with C, and then up to 4 sharps and 4 flats. So that's where the 9 chapters come in. And I will go through in depth each part, so you'll see that coming up. And then the accompaniment audio, this book has accompaniment audio for the exercises and for all the songs, and the songs are all original. So that's the great thing about this book, is the student will not know how the songs sound, so they definitely can't rely on their ear. And there's accompaniment on the website that they can go to sing along with. So it's great to do either on the practicing or even in a lesson. So if you are an instructor listening to this, it's great for a lesson because you can turn on the audio and just be able to focus on the student singing and not have to worry about accompanying. So it's great for that. And then it starts out with the vocalese, and the pattern is played once, and then played every half step, so the student can sing along with it. So it goes through every half step there, but it is played, the pattern is played once, and then the student can sing along with it. And there are 3 pages of vocalese, so quite a bit of different vocal exercises. And then this page on the pre-chapter explains the scale numbers, and for part 1 we focus on just scale numbers 1 through 5. So it explains what each scale number sounds like and how each scale number has a unique sound to it. And then here are the note reading worksheets. Like I mentioned, they don't have to know how to read music before doing this book. It does teach all the notes, starting with C through G and then G through D for the next set of notes that they can fill out the worksheets, and then D through A, and finally G below middle C to C. And then we talk about rhythm, so they will learn how to do the rhythm. Here it explains the time signature and starts with a quarter and half notes and rests, and some rhythm drills for them. And we add the half note, the dotted half note, and then the whole note. And here, this page is a good page to stay on for a while before moving on to the chapters. And this is where they sing the scale numbers 1 through 5 in random order. So that way they should be able to jump from any note to any note on the scale from 1 to 5. And then there's a really fun assignment there, if you see on the bottom of the page, where I take 3 familiar songs and have the student be able to hear and figure out what the scale number is. So when they sing Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it gives the first scale number for them to start on, and then they can sing the whole song there. And you can add to that list if you, the instructor, want to think of some other fun, familiar, easy songs that kind of go from 1 to 5. Although it's hard to find songs that only have 1 to 5. So, and then here's chapter 1, starting with the key of C. And I start out each chapter with a worksheet where they now combine the note reading skill that they have learned in the rhythm along with the scale number. So how to quickly identify in the key of C that C is 1 and that kind of thing. It's easy in the key of C, but when we get into other chapters it gets a little bit more challenging. And then here are the 10 songs. There are 10 songs in each chapter, and again, they can go to the website for the accompaniment and sing along. So it's really fun. There are 3 speeds: slow, medium, and fast. So they can, so it challenges them to the fast speed if they want to get up to that fast tempo. And then there are the 10 songs. Chapter 2 in the key of G with the worksheet and the 10 songs. And they're the same 10 songs transposed in each key. And then the key of F, key of D, key of B flat, A, E flat, E, and A flat for the last chapter. And then part 2, and now we add the 6 and the 7 for the scale number, so 1 through 7. And this whole book is all diatonic. There's no accidentals added to the songs or to the scale. That will be actually in book 2. We'll be talking about accidentals. And so it shows the whole and half steps in the scale, so they're aware of the half steps between 3 and 4, 7 and 1. And then the repeated directions, so the songs in this part, in the chapters in this part, will have repeated directions. So it explains how to do that. And more vocalies, and there's 3 pages, and you notice that it is a little more challenging on the pattern and the rhythm. So 8th notes will be included in this chapter's rhythm. So you may want to hold off on giving them that first exercise there until they've done the rhythm. And now intervals. So another concept of learning to read music is by intervals. So scale numbers is one, intervals is another. And so in this book, it's all diatonic intervals. And down there off, if you notice tips for hearing each interval, I have a little kind of a cheat sheet kind of a thing for identifying the different intervals. And then worksheets for the intervals and the what this page is for is so the student can quickly identify on the notes the intervals. So not only identifying how they sound, but also how they look on the notes on the page. So that's really important to be able to identify. And I have it in all the different keys for the worksheets. And then finally the rhythm for the pre-chapter, and it includes the 8th notes, like I mentioned earlier. The dotted quarter note, that's kind of a hard one for most students. And then finally the tie added to, oh, actually one more thing, the 6/8 meter. And there is a song in the 6/8 meter in the songs and the chapters in this part, so kind of fun. And then chapter 1 in the key of C, now adding the 6 and 7, starting out just like in part 1 with a worksheet, so they get used to identifying the note name with the scale number for that key. And the 10 songs. So here we are in the key of C with 10 songs. They are a little bit more difficult and pretty fun too. I made the songs to be fun to sing. I had a blast singing with them, singing them with the accompaniment. And then chapter 2 in the key of G, same songs transposed to G, key of F, 10 songs, key of D, B flat, A, E flat, B, and then last A flat. And that concludes Drill and Excel in Sight Singing. By the end of this book, a student should be able to sight sing up to 4 sharps and 4 flats. I hope you or your student enjoys the wonderful art of sight singing.